Well, good morning again, everybody, and welcome to IGTV. We're speaking today with Robert O'Brien, and Robert is a technology researcher who's come to us and given us something that we put up on our blog last week on October 7th regarding a piece of malware called Stuxnet, Stuxnet. It's a critical infrastructure virus that's been put out there. And Bob has done some more detailed research in this area. Please do welcome Robert O'Brien onto IGTV.
Yeah, hi Joe.
Hi.
Good
Hey,
to see you
Bob.
today.
How you doing? It's good to see you as well. All right. So why don't you start off by giving us a little bit of a background about what you found in your research?
Sure. There's a good deal of research around on the net, and what I found is that this uh, malware, what it does is it specifically goes after a piece of equipment that they use in nuclear generation. It hits the centrifuge plants that generate the enriched uranium. Specifically, it hits only those machines that are made by Siemens, a very specific type of machine. The Stuxnet is perhaps one of the most sophisticated malwares that's come out in a long time. The commissioner of the European Net CERT just last week said it raises. He basically said it raises the bar. He put it in different words. It's a pretty sophisticated piece of malware, and it's not new. It's been out in the wild for more than a year, and it's something that should concern us because it shows, one, the vulnerability of our infrastructure, and two, that there's some very sophisticated type of attacks out in the wild.
You know, Bob, one of the things that I think may be confusing some people is that they think Stuxnet, since it looks for WinCC, they think that may be a Microsoft client. Is that true?
Yeah, what it looks for is this. It's got basically four trap doors that it goes through, zero-day defects. But it looks for an operating system called WinCC. This is a special control command type of software that's used to control these systems. It's basically a Windows thing. You wouldn't find this on Apple or stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a Microsoft client. It's not a just a Siemens type of OS.
Well, no, Siemens built it in order to work it under the Microsoft operating systems. But basically, it's Siemens type of software. It's specifically, when you have factory automation software, you build it specifically to how the factory automation equipment is designed. There's a hardware design, there's an operating system that has to match the hardware architecture and structure. So this WinCC is a very specific type of thing. I doubt it would be used on, for example, GE controllers or other companies.
Oh, okay. So that kind of clears that up for us. So Stuxnet looks for the WinCC, an obscure SCADA operating system. All
Right.
right. So Siemens claims 15 plants around the world have been infected. Can you get into that at all?
Yeah, they're acknowledging that 15 plants have been affected. When you picture these kind of plants, think about high-type security type plants that probably have very closed doors with regard to their internet. They're probably not connected on the internet. They're probably very closed. So what happens is that either on USB sticks or some other entry method that's fairly controlled, this software has gotten into these closed systems. And Siemens is acknowledging that they have discovered it in 15. Now, having said that, the security software folks, including Microsoft, they acknowledge that it might be on 60,000 to a million Chinese PCs and 60-odd thousand other PCs around the world. But for those machines that are infected, it doesn't bother anybody because, one, they don't have the WinCC operating system built into them, and two, they don't have this Siemens hardware structure, this Siemens PLC that they're specifically looking for. So
Yeah.
it's basically just something in the background. Takes a couple of a little bit of the processing capacity away from the machines, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. You know that you've actually been able to define it down to that level of specificity. And then that there are these machines over in Asia and China and places like that maybe it probably won't have a great impact because they're not connected to some sort of SCADA control system.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting. Thanks for certainly clearing that piece up of it. Now, I was also reading on this. It's not in our notes today, but I was also reading that Siemens is kind of hard coded an administrative password into this.
Well, most operating systems do have hard-coded passwords built into it. There's dummy passwords built into basically every operating system. They're the back door. There was even a password back into the original thing that the United States built, the first infrastructure encryption piece of equipment. That always had back doors too. It's not uncommon.
So what is it? Is it up to the purchaser then, once they obtain the software and the hardware, to go in and actually change that?
Yes, this is fairly common.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so getting back...
The other point is that there's not many people in the world that know how to work this operating system. So this is a very small number of people, can't be more than a few thousand, I would say, around the world that know how this operating system works. So it's a very interesting phenomenon.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very good point. So, of course, the boo-ha-ha overall, this is not because, Joe's Lumberyard got attacked or they were hosting this type of hardware or software. The big deal here was that Iran's nuclear infrastructure production capacity dropped. Can you get into that a little bit more? Because that's, I think, where all the, national attention has been focused.
Yeah. This is a little bit of a false alarm in the regard of saying, look, if I was Iran, I see this piece of software come in. It looks like it's targeting my piece of equipment. It's making me lose. I got, let's say, 4,000 centrifuges, and I lose 1,000 of them over a couple of months. This happened late last year. I'm going to say, look, this thing is targeting me, and I'm really mad. Somebody's out to get me. Well, that's one interpretation. However, the other 14 sites that were affected, it would have hit them the same way. Once it gets inside the infrastructure, once it gets inside your perimeter, and once it starts to spawn, it basically looks for all of the available machines. So it does a ping, basically, a ping asterisk, basically in easy talk. It finds every computer that's out there, asks it whether it's a Siemens particular type of machine, a SDIC thing machine, and then it goes and infiltrates it. But it's going to do the same behavior, no matter what kind of software you have, and no matter if it's Windows, it's just going to always look the same. So the idea that this is strictly meant for Iran, I doubt it. It's a very sophisticated type of piece of equipment. If anything, I would say it might be more almost a peacenik type thing. If you were to create a group of people that say, look, let's take down all of the nuclear facility for making bombs. This is the kind of thing that I would design. It's very sophisticated.
Very interesting analysis. Very interesting perspective that you'd come up with that, and certainly something that is certainly within the grasp of reality, right? One of these groups out there putting some researchers together, perhaps from a number of universities, and coming up with this very well developed piece of software. So, and at the same time, hitting more than just Iran, probably hitting quite a few other spots as well.
Exactly.
All right, so we know it hit the uranium enrichment plant in Iran. Some say the fall in the numbers of working centrifuges as early as 2009 is evidence of a successful Stuxnet attack. So, and that information, of course, is gleaned from The Economist a while back. So that is some information that's out there in the open. How widespread do you think this is, Bob?
Well, Microsoft claims that there might be as many as 65, 70,000 pieces of equipment around the world infected by this. But that's not all Siemens equipment, just regular computers out in the wild. One of the software companies that specializes in malware detection claims it might be as much as 1 million. So it could be just lurking out there as a virus that's basically dormant, a dormant virus. Like how we carry viruses in our body that we never get sick from. You know,
Right.
It's not uncommon for many computers to have dormant viruses out there that just aren't triggered off. What is an interesting thing I picked up in one of the analysis was that the virus that's active, the Stuxnet virus, once it goes active, it keeps looking every 7 seconds for something to happen. And it's not clear from the researches that I've read what the hell they're looking for. So it looks like it's something that there could be triggers that could go down into it from a remote device. One aspect of this virus is that it reports out to two servers somewhere out in Europe, in the places that it's kind of hard to detect where the stuff is coming from, to do backward traces and stuff like that. So it is possible that if any of these if any of these closed networks get opened up to the internet, that there could be some information sent back to the collecting people that have generated the virus, and then they could get back in touch with the virus and activate it to do something else. So it's basically like a tool waiting to be used.
All right, and when we come back, Robert O'Brien and I will give you some additional thoughts about what to do about Stuxnets, and we'll continue a little bit on about the spread right after this commercial. We'll be right back, folks.